Good afternoon po sa lahat at magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat muli. Maraming salamat po na muli tayo ay nakadalo sa isa na namang makabuluhang Thursday of transformation. Ano? Ang tema natin ngayon ay courageous leaders. Sa Tagalog, matatapang na leader kung tama po yung aking translation. Konting background lang, though si Sir naman ang magpapaliwanag mamaya. Ang tunay na tapang ay hindi lamang nasusukat sa harap ng panganib, kundi sa kakayanang mamuno ng may katotohanan, integridad at puso, lalo na sa gitna ng mga pagsubok. So ngayong hapon, isang karangalan na naman na makasama natin ang ating President and Chairman na magbabahagi ng kanyang pananaw at karanasan tungkol sa pagiging isang courageous leader. And to all the note, sir, with great respect, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brother Randy and the ating team, no, for this Thursdays of Transformation series. I acknowledge Renan and Angelo being part of the technical team who have been helping in putting this thing together over the internet and through our Facebook account. This afternoon, we are going to take the topic of courageous leadership. And this is going to mark the end of our Thursdays of Transformation series. We have already covered much of what we have prepared. I think this is going to be the 7th topic. So hopefully, yung buong length ng ating series would have had been a source of nuggets of wisdom and knowledge that some, if not all of you, would be able to put to good use, not only in the workplace, but also in the way we do our roles as members of our households and as a member of our larger society. So let me share to you our material for this afternoon. Is it visible now sa screen, Brother Ran?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, as I said, this is going to be a topic on courageous leadership, no? Or courageous leaders. And I usually introduce this topic by showing to you this picture. Itong picture na ito ay picture ng isang taong grasa. I guess you are all familiar what a taong grasa means, no? Or as a person who is actually living on in the streets and on the mercy of people, no, by begging or relying on people's mercies para sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na survival. When I post a question in my younger day sa aking ama, sa aking father, sabi ko, tinanong ko siya, Papa, ano ba yung bakit ba tayo nagkakaroon ng isang taong grasa? Of course, sabi ng papa ko, one of the reasons is of course kung merong mental challenge yung tao o may mental ailment, and therefore yun yung mga tinatawag nating mga kasi nabaliw, yung bumigay ang kaisipan, and so they ended up in the streets because maybe their families actually lost them or they have lost their families. But sabi ng father ko, there is another reason. And basically, to my surprise, my father said, the second reason is kaduwagan, cowardice. So I tried to wrap my head around what my father said, na ang isang taong grasa daw ay maaaring kung hindi naman siya siraang ulo, nagiging taong grasa siya dahil sa kaduwagan. And my father continued to explain. Ang sabi niya, look, once you enter a school, ang mga challenges mo is pumasa lang ng exam. No? But as soon as you finish your education, you will realize that now you have to find a job. And before you find a job, before you land on a job, the company or the government will require you to manage certain documentations. Yan. Kukuha ka ng SSS number, kukuha ka ng GSIS number, TIN number, etc. etc. No? Marami kang kailangang kuning bagay-bagay para ka makapag-umpisa magtrabaho. Aside from that, you also have to kung meron entrance exam, you have to do it. Kung merong nagre-require ng civil service exam, you have to do it. At nag-uumpisa pa lang ang complication ng buhay sa mga requirements na yan. Right after that, you will realize when you're already working that you have to keep filling up forms, no? Kailangan mong fill up ng asset and liabilities disclosure kung nasa gobyerno ka. Papasok ka sa isang organisasyon, mag-fill up ka ng application form, mag-fill up ka ng personal history form, paulit-ulit ang tanong, paulit-ulit din ang sagot mo. Mag-fill up ka ng ID application form at kung ano-ano pa. Everything becomes complicated. And furthermore, once you start having the ambition of owning a house, ayan, mag-fill up ka ng kung ano-anong form kasi i-require sa'yo ng developer. Pag ipapasok mo sa bangko, ganito kakapal ang fill upan mong form sa bangko para mo maipasok sa bank loan yung kinuha mong condo unit. Ang hahaba ng form niyan. And the complication of life doesn't stop there. Pag nagkaanak ka, ayan. Sa mismong the very day that your child is born, you will have to fill up a form so that you can file a birth certificate. Pero bago mangyari yan, mag-aasawa ka muna, magpoproseso ka ng marriage certificate, mag-a-attend ka ng mga seminar ng health, family planning, kung ano-ano pa. Everything that you do in life will give you more and more complications. At ang mga taong ito, according to my father, they end up just saying, no more. No more. I don't want to do any documentation. I don't want to do any of these processes. I will just try to live a life on the street. Ilalahad ko na lang ang kamay ko, kung may magbigay sa araw na yon, may pagkain ako. Ganito na lang kasimple ang buhay. Lahad ng kamay, kain. Lahad ng kamay, kain. Pag umulan, silong. Pag umaraw, lahad ng kamay sa street, kain. Simple lang ang maging buhay ng isang taong grasa. But do you really want any loved one of yours to become like this? Of course, the answer is no. That's why ang topic natin ngayon is about courage and about courageous leadership. And let's now dive right into it. Merong mga pangarap tayo in our lives, no, to have a personality or a stature that is recognizable by many. In short, gusto natin sikat. Gusto natin yung anak natin maging sikat. O tayo mismo maging sikat. So, halimbawa, magkakaroon tayo ng signature that will appear in public document. At kung siniswerte ka, baka ang signature mo ay mag-appear pa sa Philippine Peso Bill. No? Ibig sabihin nun ay presidente ka ng bansa. But everybody would have a certain ambition, no, to have recognizability or some form of pagiging sikat o famous. However, That's why I am showing to you the signature here. However, the stumbling block for anyone who wants to be famous is lahat din tayo may kanya-kanyang fears. At maraming tao takot sa mikropono. Umamin man kayo o hindi, pagka kailangan kayong magsasalita sa isang public situation, fear will naturally creep in. Mapuwera na lang yung talagang mahilig kumanta. Pag nakakakita ng mikropono, ay natutuwa. Pero yung karamihan, pag nakakakita ng mikropono, merong konting takot na baka pagsalitain siya o pakantahin. But that is the reality of life. We have ambitions, but we also have fears. So the question is, should leaders be courageous? Of course, it's a no-brainer. Dapat may konting tapang ang bawat isang leader. Because how can you lead people if you are not willing to venture into some things that would give you the shivers? Kailangan buo ang loob mo so that your people would see na kaya mo silang dalhin sa isang sitwasyon o isang lugar where leadership would really be a requirement. Sabi pa nga, merong kasabihan in Latin, no? Audentes fortuna iubat. Karamihan ipinapatato ito para maalaala ng isang tao, ipinapatato nila sa kanilang mga braso so that they will be reminded that fortune favors the bold. Marami ng tao nagsabi nito, including Manny Pacquiao, na bakit ka ika gumaling ng gumaling at sumikat ng sumikat sa boxing? Sabi nila, fortune favors the bold. Ang matapang, kinakampihan ng fortune. Nagkakaroon daw ng magandang fortune yung mga magaling sumabak sa challenge. There are great rewards for someone who knows how to take risks. So such that brave individuals who are not afraid of loss or failure will reap an abundant fortune. Ang nagkakamali ka ng swerte, yung marunong mag-risk. Yan. Fortune favors the bold. So courage, my dear colleagues, is also referred to as bravery, bravado, valor, fortitude, or boldness. At malalaman natin in the dictionary definition, merong dalawang keywords that are usually used in order to describe courage or bravado. At ito yung words na choice and willingness to confront uncertainty. Kasi typically, pagka sumasabak ka sa isang bagay, hindi mo kasi alam ang outcome. No? Hindi mo alam if you will succeed or not. And that is the thing that gives you the fear or the reluctance. It gives you discomfort. In other people, agony or pain. No? Merong pang paghihirap ng loob kapag kakaalam nilang sasabak sila sa isang bagay and they are unsure about the outcome. But then, if you have courage, you will still choose and you will be willing to do it. Yun yung dalawang keywords that we will revisit again later on. And this is a discovery that many encountered, no? Many great leaders would say na ang courage daw, ang katapangan ay hindi inborn talent. Hindi yan kung matapang ang magulang mo, matapang ka na rin. In fact, marami kabaliktaran eh. Kapag ka-courageous ang magulang, yung mga nagiging anak, sobrang shielded, sobrang naipagtanggol ng magulang na hindi nakadevelop ng sariling katapangan. Umasa na lang sa tapang ng magulang o tapang ng kapatid, no? Kaya, hindi yan inborn talent. Ang courage daw or bravery is a learned skill, no, or a learned skill. Ito is something that you learn. So you have to practice so that you can learn it. This is an acquired talent or an acquired skill rather than being an inborn talent. Kanina sabi natin, courage is by choice. There is an element of willingness to confront uncertainty, no? So, while we are young, kung ang ating magulang would want to develop us into a courageous person, they would allow us to try things that are new to us. Kaya nga mapapansin natin sa mga Montessori, they will allow the kids to venture into some climbing experiences. Mapansin nyo yung mga laruan sa Montessori, they will allow 2 years old, 3 years old kids to climb walls, no? Na may mga hawakan o may mga tinatawid na mga tulay. And that is part of the conquest, no? Because when a child discovers that he could actually do these things, makaka-develop siya ng confidence to do it again and again until perfection would set in. Kapag ang magulang takot ang anak ay, let's say, papalakarin sa mga lugar na sementado, matagal matuto maglakad ang bata. Samantalang kung hayaan mo lang ng hayaan, pag natumba, ay di itatayo mo lang, and then the repetition would allow the child to learn the skill. And so it is with the development of courage. That's why courage is by choice. Because you can choose not to do it again dahil nasaktan ka sa una, or you can say, well, I learned from that previous experience, I will try it again. Maybe I will do better next time or this time. That's why we say courage is by choice. Ang courage, let's talk about what can we attribute towards courage, no? Sabi nila courage daw is like a health card. Parang yung ating iCard o MaxiCare card, no? You somehow hope you do not encounter a situation where you will have to use it. Magandang meron, pero sana hindi magamit. Kasi yung health card natin, pag nagagamit natin, ibig sabihin may karamdaman tayo, no? Bukod lang doon sa annual physical exam natin which is required. Pero ayaw natin na ang health card natin nagagamit natin lagi. Oo, libre nga. Pero the implication is then we are feeling some ailments. Kaya natin nagagamit. That's why our prayer is always, sana wag nang magamit itong health card na ito. Para ibig sabihin, I'm healthy. But courage is like that. It's good to have it even if you will not need it. That's why it's good to develop it ahead of time. So that in case you will need it, you have it. So parang health card din na, in case magkasakit ka, meron ka. Pero sana wag magkasakit. Sabi nila, parang din daw yung baril. It's like a gun in Wild Wild West. It is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Mas mabuting meron ka niyan at di mo naman kinailangan kaysa naman kinailangan mo at wala ka niyan. So, it's good to develop it while you still don't need it. That's why when we are rearing our children, it's good to allow them to develop courage and confidence. Para when the time comes that they will need it, they would be able to surmount the fears that come with certain challenges. Ano pa? Sabi nila ang courage daw is contextual. Depende sa sitwasyon. One might be brave to jump from a plane, lalo na yung mga airborne natin, yung mga kasundaluhan o mga Air Force natin, but rather not be called to a Senate investigation hearing. Di ba? Pwedeng may tapang yan sa mga bagay-bagay na iba, pero may takot sa ibang bagay. Sabi nga ni General Robert E. Lee, a celebrated general during the Great American War, minsan pinatawag siya sa Congress para magpaliwanag ng sitwasyon sa battlefield. Sabi niya, mas natatakot pa akong humarap dyan sa Congress kaysa makipagbarilan dito sa giyera. Sana wag na lang akong tatawagin dyan sa Kongreso. At okay na ako rito sa bakbakan. So, imagine a general as celebrated as General Robert Lee, no? Being afraid to speak in Congress, but not afraid to die in the battlefield. Talagang ibang klase ang courage, no? It is really contextual. Depende sa sitwasyon. And para sa buhay natin, my dear colleagues, we have to remember this so that we will start developing courage, lalo na sa trabaho natin. Kasi maraming aspeto ng trabaho natin minsan na natatakot tayong gawin. Hindi ko kayang gawin. Ito lang ang kaya ko. Pero remember this, my dear colleagues, sa buhay natin at sa trabaho, wala naman talagang nangako sa atin that our lives in Norconsult, for example, will just be a rose garden and a bike ride along the boulevard. Wala namang nangako sa atin yan eh. When we accepted the job, we know that there will be challenges. Hindi yan yung pagpasok natin parang namamasyal ka lang sa garden, ano? O kaya namimisikleta ka on a Sunday along the boulevard. Walang nangako sa atin yan. So, the challenges comes with the territory sa ating paggawa ng ating pang-araw-araw na trabaho. No one ever said to us it will be easy like Sunday morning. Yung pang-araw-araw natin na pagising para sumabak sa ating mga obligasyon sa trabaho at mga obligasyon sa mga organisasyong kinakabilangan natin, wala naman nangako na parang nag-iinat ka lang sa araw-araw ang sarap ng gising. Meron talagang challenges yan. And the more that we accept na ganun, the more that we would be able to convince ourselves that we need to be courageous when we do our work. So paano natin mapapakita ang courage natin sa ating buhay at sa trabaho? Ayan, no? Sabi ko kanina, challenges will always be ahead of us and therefore we have to accept it is a fact of life. And the first thing that we need to do now, kung meron tayong mga iniisip na mga fears sa buhay natin at sa trabaho, the starting point is when one learns how to rewire his or her own thoughts. Kailangan nating i-rewire yung ating kaisipan. Kasi baka nasanay tayo to think one way before and therefore we have to rewire. Halimbawa ganito, nasanay tayo na yung elementary tayo, every time sasabihin natin, ma'am, ang hirap naman ng math problem na pina-assignment mo. Sasabihin ng teacher, hayaan mo tuturuan kita. Yan. Nasanay tayo na pag may challenge sa mga math problems natin nung elementary tayo, meron laging teacher na umaayuda sa atin. Nung high school na tayo, kapag may mga challenge tayo sa ating mga physical activities, sasabihin ng ating YDT o ngayon si Watts na yata ang tawag dyan, na teacher, o sige, excuse ka na lang, may hika ka pala eh, huwag ka nang magtabas ng damo o huwag ka nang magmarcha. Kung nag-ROTC, minsan ganun, tinalagay sa light duty. Kaya nauuso yung malingering, yung nagkukunwari hindi kaya. Actually, kaya naman kung pipilitin. So, ang ginagawa, ine-excuse. Nasanay tayo na pag sinabi natin hindi kaya, o sige, excuse na lang. Ang problema, pagdating natin sa buhay, lalo na sa ngayong we are full adults and we now have our own families, wala na dyan yung teacher natin. Hindi na tayo pwedeng saluhin ng teacher natin. Hindi na rin tayo pwedeng saluhin ng ating ROTC officer. Sagot na natin ang sarili natin. So, because we have no one to turn to now, and it is only ourselves that we can turn to, we have to rewire our thoughts in order to develop courage. Paano daw? What are the mindsets to be able to rewire and develop courage? Yan ang ating patuloy na i-discuss today. Number one, the first thing that you have to teach yourself is to accept this as a truth. This is not a perfect world. Walang perpekto. Kaya kung magkamali ka man, kung magkamali ka sa trabaho, maiintindihan ng boss mo at ng kasama mo sa trabaho na minsan-minsan talagang nagkakamali. Ultimo, mga boss natin nagkakamali. And alam nila yun. Pag ikaw naman ang nagkamali, as long as you show that you are learning from your past mistake, hindi ka naman dapat matakot sa pagkakamali na yun. Because everybody knows this truth. This is not a perfect world. Ito, shit happens. Excuse my French, no? Nangyayari talaga yan. At may tinatawag tayong Murphy's Law. Ano ba yung Murphy's Law? Ayan. If anything can go wrong, it will. Or anything that can go wrong will go wrong. May mga bagay na pwedeng may mangyari, nangyayari. No? Ang tawag dito, Murphy's Law. And some examples are this. Pag pinalamanan nyo na yung inyong tasty, yung tinapay, pag nabitawan nyo yan, tinan mo, laging taob. Kaya sayang na talaga kasi yung palaman pa ang tatama sa lupa. No? Toast always falls on the buttered side. It's the reality. Hindi mo na masasalba yung tasty. Ito pa, no? Yung pag tumitingin ka sa mga mapa, mga plano, yung importanteng impormasyon na hinahanap mo, yun pa yung punit na parte. Napapansin nyo ba yun? Bakit ika na ito pa yung napunit, ito pa yung hinahanap kong portion? Di ba nung araw, yung mga kaedad namin ni Kuya Butch, ano yan, no? Merong, wala pang ano nun, Google Maps. Ang mapa namin nun, the map of Greater Manila, binibili sa National Bookstore. Ang lapad nun, bubuksan mong ganun. Hahanapin mo yung street na hinahanap mo kung saan. Ay yung pa yung parting na pagtiklupan, pudpud na. Hindi mo alam kung yun ang tamang pangalan. So, nangyayari yan. Murphy's Law. Yung mga nawawalang bagay, lagi mo nakikita doon sa huling lugar na tiningnan mo. No? Andito lang palang ito. Buong bahay na halangkat ko na. Nasa bulsa ko pala. Ganyan ang Murphy's Law. What are the other examples? Pagka pumipila ka, yung kabilang pila parang ang bilis. Paglipat mo ron, bibilis naman yung iniwan mong pila. Napansin nyo ba yun? Kahit sa toll booth, parang ikang hindi gumagalaw ang pila namin. Lilipat ka ng pila sa toll booth. Ito namang inalisan mo ang tatakbo ng mabilis. Aba, nananadya yata ang takilyera rito Alam nilang nagmamadali ako At every time you wash your car, ay tsaka naman uulan. Nangyayari yan. And that is what is called Murphy's Law. And that is part of the imperfection of this world. Kaya, since all of us know that truth, let us no longer be fearful about making mistakes. Nangyayari talaga ang pagkakamali. And if the persons in your workplace are in their right minds, they will not persecute you for the mistake you made. it is acceptable as long as they see you na you are learning from it, no? Mahirap naman kung you are doing the same mistake ng paulit-ulit. Parang kang si Homer Simpson. No? Now, hindi na natuto sa pagkakamali. Yun naman siguro ang hindi na acceptable. Okay? Therefore, it is okay to make mistakes at work as long as you own up to it. Number 2, it is okay to worry. Okay lang mag-alala. But when you worry, prepare. Ang worry, nilagay sa ating design ni Lord so that we will learn how to prepare. Kasi minsan kapag hindi tayo nag-aalala, hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng trigger para mag-prepare. Halimbawa, may meeting bukas. Baka matanong ako doon sa ginawa kong proposal. Basahin ko nga ulit para prepared ako sa meeting. Diba? Kasi nagwo-worry ka, baka matanong ka. Pero kung hindi ka marunong mag-worry, ang mangyayari, hindi ka rin makakapag-prepare. Ang sabi pa nila, amat victoria curam, no? Sa salitang Latin. Which translates to victory loves ito loves preparation. Victory loves preparation. Ayan. Okay? So, it is okay to worry, but when you worry, prepare. That way, when you know that you are prepared, you will also be courageous in doing what needs to be done. Kasi preparado ka na eh. Worry is your alarm clock, which signals you to do something ahead of time. Ito yung signal mo. Nag-aalarma ang katawan mo, ang isip mo, so that you will prepare. And when you are prepared, you will be more courageous. Number 3, we have to accept that sometimes do nothing is an option. Minsan natatakot tayo kasi may gusto tayong gawing action. Kailangan aksyonan ko to. Pero sometimes may mga bagay na hindi mo kailangan aksyonan. Halimbawa, may nakita akong kasama natin sa trabaho na nakita ko nagkamali. Nakita kong kinokorek niya yung pagkakamali niya. He or she is trying to learn from that already and correct him or herself. Kailangan ko pa bang sitahin? Hindi ko na sinisita. Oo, nakikita ko kayo pag meron kayong ginawang pagkakamali. But sometimes I choose to do nothing. Because I already see that you are trying to improve from that mistake. So sometimes do nothing is an option. Lagi nating tatandaan, time heals all wounds. And this one takes a special mindset, my dear colleagues. Kailangan ng tamang hulog ng kaisipan sa konsepto na to. Because we feel like if we don't do anything, we are not trying to resolve the issue. But sometimes some issues can get resolved by themselves because time heals all wounds. Okay? That's the fourth one is this. Some lessons are learned well by failing. May mga lesson talaga na natututunan lang natin kapag nag-fail tayo o nababagsak natin. Failure is said to be the greatest teacher. Merong company in Mindanao, the farm is in Mindanao but the company is nationwide. Yung Dole. Alam nyo yon, yung Dole na company, yung maker yung naglalata ng pinya at nagtatanim ng banana. Nakikita natin sa grocery, yung mga banana dyan na makikinis. merong doll na sticker. Yun. Yung doll, I was told by my colleagues in or my contemporaries in college, no, na yung mga agri-sciences graduates, may isang particular subject na i-hire ka lang ng doll kung binagsak mo yung subject na yan. Oh, nakakapagtaka, no? Ang hinahanap nila yung ibinagsak yung particular subject na ito na napaka-importante sa kanila. Bakit? Ang katwiran daw ng HR, ang sabi ng friends ko, ang katwiran ng HR, kapag ibinagsak mo yan at kinuha mo uli next year at napasa mo na sa pangalawang beses, sigurado ako na intindihan mo na ngayon yan. Pero kung pinasa mo yan sa una lang, baka nakachamba ka lang. Sigurado ako the second time you took it, nag-aral ka na ng mabuti. Kaya mo napasa. That's why, between two people na nag-a-apply sa kanila, pag nakita nilang ibinagsak mo dati yung subject na yan at kinuha mo ulit, mas prepared ka nila i-hire. Because they understood this, no? That failure is the greatest teacher. And so ganun din naman ang mindset natin dapat. That even if we fail, as long as we are learning from it, it should not strike fear in our hearts. Huwag tayong matakot because that is how we be able to learn. What else? Yan. Ito, mahirap ding intindihin. There is wisdom in silence. Minsan, when things go wrong, ang tendency is to defend, is to say a lot of things, is to quarrel with people. But I am telling you, based on my own experience in life, there is wisdom in silence. Anything, in the midst of the challenge or in the midst of the altercations or what have you, you are basically writing yourself a blank check. Bakit? Kasi hindi alam nung iba kung anong laman ng isip mo eh. Kasi tahimik ka lang. Ano man ang gusto mong gawin later, it's like having a blank check. You can write the amount anytime. Gusto mo kasuhan, di kasuhan mo later. Pero napag-isipan mo ng mabuti kasi tumahimik ka muna. Ibig sabihin, itong mindset na ito actually means that yung sinasabi natin, madalas pag mayroong nanghihingi ng payo sa atin, itulog mo muna. Itulog mo muna kung merong kang agam-agam, there are complications that you are facing. In life and in work, itulog mo muna. Kasi baka bukas, mas magliwanag yung isip mo. Then that's the time to actually initiate your action. But in the meantime, when you keep silent, there is wisdom in it. Okay? Next one. Do not see things in fragments. Huwag nating tignan ang bagay-bagay ng putol-putol at basag-basag. Sabi nila, when you look at the forest, you should see both the forest and the trees. No? Hindi yung ang nakikita mo lang yung individual tree. Kailangan nakikita mo rin yung buong forest. Both the individual tree and the collective, which is the forest. And I'm going to tell you a story na baka narinig nyo na because this is actually something that has been circulated in the internet for quite a while. Meron daw isang pamilya na mag-ama, wala na silang balo na sa sa misis, no. So mag-ama sila, lalaki rin yung anak. Sobrang hirap nila, they're so poor, no. So all their neighbors are pitying them. Sinasabi ng mga kapitbahay, kawawa naman yang mag-ama na yan, sobrang hikahos ang buhay. And itong mag-ama na to, ang yaman nila ay isang kabayo. Meron lang silang isang kabayo, yun ang kinakabuhay nila. Pinanghahakot, pinaparentahan, etc. Sabi ng mga kapitbahay, kawawa naman yang mag-ama na yan. Ang yaman lang ay kabayo, ang ari-arian lang ay kabayo, at wala nang iba. Yun lang ang pinagkukunan ng kakainin sa araw-araw. One day, nawala yung kabayo. Nakawala sa koral and got lost in the forest. Sabi ng mga kapitbahay, kawawa naman lalo yung mag-ama na yan. Yung kabayo na nga lang ang inaasahan sa kabuhayan, nawala pa. Kawawa naman. And then one day, umuwi yung kabayo galing sa forest. At may kasamang 20 pa na wild horses. May mga nakaibigang mga wild horses sa forest, pag uwi ng kabayo, 21 na sila. Anong sabi ng mga kapitbahay? Ang swerte naman ika ng mag-ama na yan, 21 na ang kabayo. After a few days, habang yung isang kabayo na wild ay tinetraining nung bata, nalaglag siya sa kabayo, nabali ang paa. Ang sabi ng mga kapitbahay, ang malas naman ng mag-ama na yan, nabali pa ang paa ng anak. Dumating ngayon yung recruiter ng army. Lahat ng anak na lalaki, i-conscript sa army dahil meron tayong gyera. Ikaw, pilay ka, exempted ka. Sabi ng mga kapitbahay, ang swerte naman ng mag-ama na yan. Hindi nakuha ng army yung anak. Exempted. Mahaba pa itong kwento na ito pero puputulin na natin dito. Ang tanong dito ito, ano ba talaga yung mag-ama na yan? Malas o swerte? Kasi sa buong panahon, ang tingin ng kanilang kapitbahay, in fragments. Tinitingnan lang yung portion. Malas, swerte. Malas, swerte. Kapag kakaganyan ang tingin natin, my dear colleagues, sa buhay at sa trabaho, talagang matatakot tayo. Kasi hindi total ang picture natin. That's why the encouragement is to be able to develop courage in life and in work. Huwag nating tignan ang bagay-bagay in fragments. Try nating intindihin yung buo. So that when we see the bigger picture, we will have the courage to get into it. Parang itong picture na nasa screen natin, ito ay collage ng mga iba-ibang kulay at iba-ibang geometric figures or what have you. If we look at the individual parts only, we will not appreciate this work of art. But if we look at the big picture, we will see that it is a beautiful artwork of a whale. No? That's why it is important to see things in its totality rather than in fragments. Okay? So that is the 6th mindset. Ito ang ating 7th mindset. That there are days that we can walk on water. There are days you can walk on water. May mga araw na nakakapul tayo ng isang milagrosong pangyayari. Because miracles do happen to those who have faith. Kung meron tayong Diyos na sinasandalan sa ating mga challenges, we will have courage because courage emanates from faith. Minsan, in the midst of difficulties, if we just have the faith that we will have a resolution ng problema na yan, mamangha ka na lang because one day it will be resolved. At ikaw na ang magsasabi, paano nangyari yun? Anong nangyari nun? Bakit ko na-solve yun? Well, we have a God who takes care of us And we have a God who is the overseer of everything that we do. So, do not discount the fact that one day, to resolve our issues, the Lord can give us a miracle. Hindi ka man maglakad sa tubig, mare-resolve naman yung akala mong wala nang solusyon. Nagkakasolusyon din. Bakit natin ginagamit yung walking on water, no? In this situation in Matthew 14:29, Jesus was walking on water at nakita siya ng mga apostles who are in a boat. And sabi ni Jesus, yes, come, it is me. Yes, come. So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. If you truly believe that the Lord will give us a solution to our problems, you can step out of the boat. Ano kaya ang mangyayari if Peter did not have the faith? If Peter did not have the faith, he would not have stepped out of the boat. And the only way for us to see if we can walk on water is to get out of the security of the boat and rest our faith on the power of the Lord Jesus. Yun din ang prinsipyo nating pinapairal sa buhay, my dear colleagues. Pag may mabigat tayong problema, the only way for us to know if we will have the ability to solve it is to get into it. Malalaman lang natin na kaya nating gawin ang isang trabaho if we try. But if we say, hindi ko kaya maglakad sa tubig, Peter would not have known that he can walk on water, that he will walk on water. It is only when he rested his faith and said, I am going to get out of the security of this boat and risk and rest on my faith that I will. Kasi tinawag na ako ng Lord ko eh. Tinawag na ako, aayaw pa ba ako? Di ba ganun din naman kapag binigyan ka ng mikropono at tumutugtog na ang introduction ng Bohemian Rhapsody? Sasabihin mo, hindi ko kaya yan. Ayoko yan, hindi ko kaya yan. Hindi mo malalaman kung kaya mong kumanta ng Bohemian Rhapsody kung hindi mo susubukan. Kaya, next time may mag-abot sa'yo ng telepono para pakantahin ka, sigihan mo na kahit na marami nanonood. At doon mo malalaman may tago-tago ka palang galing. Ganon din naman sa trabaho. And it is only when you take that step to get out of the boat and into the water that you will be able to go where you had always been afraid to go to. Doon mo lang malalaman, kaya mo pala. Kaya mo pala. You just need to take the first step. As an aside, 3 tao pa lang daw ang nakalakad sa tubig. Jokingly, of course, from the Bible, Jesus and Peter. Pero merong picture na lumabas sa internet na nakalakad din sa tubig si Anselmo. At may prueba siya. May picture pa siya. Ayan, no? Kung hindi siya lumakad sa tubig dyan, yari siya sa toro. Kaya natuto siya lumakad sa tubig. So, in conclusion, my dear friends and colleagues, courage is just a state of mind. Nasa isip mo yan. It's how you inculcate it into your mindset. It is how you cultivate it as your way of life. Sabi pa ni Mark Twain, it is not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. Hindi yung palakihan ng aso palakihan niya ng tapang sa loob ng aso. Tingnan nyo ang mga pitbull. Comparably, mas maliit siya sa iba, pero dahil known siya for their aggressiveness and tapang, maraming takot sa pitbull. So, always remember, my friends, my dear colleagues, audentes fortuna iuvat, fortune favors the bold. So, develop the courage in yourself, in your life, and in our work. So, there ends our lecture for today. And as I said, this is the last of our series. So, I hope that in the last 2 to 3 months, we have learned from this Thursdays of transformation, and we can translate whatever we have learned into the way we deal with the challenges in life, with the challenges at work, and the way we lead our own families. So thank you, Brother Randy, and I'll now return the floor to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you po sir. Maraming salamat po sir sa pagbabahagi ng mga makabuluhang aral na tungkol sa pagiging isang courageous leader. At maraming salamat din po sa lahat ng mga nakiisa ngayong araw. And I will now open the floor. Okay, Sir Butch.
Brother Randy, si Sir Butch yata is saying something.
Yes sir, please go ahead.
Sirs, good afternoon to Sir RTA. I just want to share something. Yung sinabi niyo kanina, lahat ng gera, totoo yun. Di baling mapalaban. Isa lang problema ko, sir. Takot ako sa injection. Yun lang i-share ko. Thank you.
Matapang sa maraming bagay, pero pag injection na, ayaw na.
Parang nanglalamig na hindi malaman kung anong gagawin.
Thank you for sharing, Kuya Butch. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you po sa lahat ng dumalo ngayong araw. And kung meron pong gustong magtanong, meron pa tayong oras to ask our speaker for today. Ano po ba?
Sa chat box, baka merong mga...
Sa chat box din po. I-chat niyo po sa chat box natin kung may mga gusto pong kayong itanong tungkol sa pagiging matapang at tao na pagiging leader natin.
Sir, baka, sir, matapang pero pagdating sa tanong, sir, takot. Kaya tuloy wala may magtatanong.
Ayun nga Baka you can apply right away yung ating lesson, no? Yung mga natatakot magtanong, itanong nyo na. After learning about all the mindsets.
Sir, mas gusto lang ipadaan kay Tulfo. Parang wala na yatang magtatanong, sir. So we may siguro end now officially yung session natin. And thank you all for joining this afternoon.
May question po sa
May question? Sige, bro.
from Angelo Lau. How to ease worry and anxiousness? Yan, kanya po katanong.
How to ease worry and anxiousness. Well, yun na nga, no? Meron tayong binigay na mga mindsets that we need to plant in our hearts and minds. Kasi yung worry, usually, we would realize that we would have been worrying about something throughout our whole life, pero never pa naman nagkatotoo. I know of a person who had been worrying about baka mawalan siya ng malay habang nagda-drive. Yun ang kanyang takot, no, na may mangyari sa kanya habang nagda-drive siya. Pag mag-isa siya sa sasakyan, baka may mangyari sa kanya. Pero 40 years na siya nagda-drive, hindi pa nangyayari. Sayang lang yung 40 years na pag-aalala. 'Di ba? Kasi pag nag-aalala ka, you're exerting effort and energy. Baka na-overwork mo pa yung heart mo. Kasi merong extra tension . So that's why we have to evaluate our worries. Ito bang worry na to is something that has really the possibility of happening, or ano to, it's just a play of my imagination? Because if you are worrying about failing in, let's say, a job interview, you have a reason to worry because it can really happen. Diba? So therefore, the solution is to prepare, to ease your worry. Because when you come in prepared, you're not really, you don't really need to worry anymore. Samantalang, if you evaluate and the cause of your worry is something that is outwardly, parang kumbaga kathang isip mo, you just have to tell yourself, nangyari na ba ito? Ito nga 40 years old na nag-aalala, naisip niya rin bandang huli eh. Ang tagal na pala no, 4 na dekada ako nag-aalala, never naman nangyari. Sayang lang yung pag-worry ko, sabi niya. So maybe that's a short answer to the question, Renan.
Thank you, Jello, for raising that question, and thank you, sir, for that wonderful answer. Meron pa po ba? Bro, meron pa?
Sa ngayon, wala na po ako nakikita.
Yung mga may worry dyan na ano.
And, thank you daw po from Angelo.
Okay.
Okay.
Kaya worry sir kung may utang, hindi pa mababayaran kasi wala pang pera. Wala rin akong pera para matahiram.
Ang worry is pambayad sa utang. You just have to face the reality na wala ka pang pambayad. Siguro ang best dyan is to be to face it squarely and say wala pa talaga eh. 'Di ba? So I mean kung iiwasan mo lang yung tao, lalo magagalit. Hindi mo na binayaran, iniwasan mo pa. So maganda siguro pagka ganun ang worry natin is, of course, we have to face it squarely as a responsible person and to say na wala pa. But you also have to exert effort na makagawa ng paraan na makabayad kahit paunti-unti. Meaning, magsisipag ka sa trabaho para you will take a sideline, yung sinasabi nilang side job, no? Para meron kang pagkunan. So, gagawa ka pa rin ng paraan.
Okay, seems na wala na pong tanong, and we will now officially end our session. Thank you all for your wisdom, Colonel and sir. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sirs.
Thank you, sirs. Thank you, everyone.